headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. The phone number is 888-825-5225. If you want to talk, the call is free, and some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. 888-825-5225. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today, and Drew is going to start off this hour in Chicago. Hi, Drew. How are you?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I've been part of the recent big tech layoffs. I recently have been notified of a severance payout that's going to be happening on the 1st of next month, and I just want to be a good steward of that income while I'm in my search for my next opportunity to move forward with my career.
That's awesome. So you got ejected, you got evicted from hell.
I did. It was like the second favor that I've been given. It's my second layoff I've gone through.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they're going to pay you to leave. I love this. How much are they going to pay you to leave?
It is $22,300.
Nice signing bonus for the next deal.
Agreed.
What do you do?
Software sales, so market development, account executives is kind of my focus with small to medium sized.
It sounds like you'll have a job like yesterday, basically in that field.
Yeah.
Have you started looking already? What's your plan as far as career goes now?
Yeah, so great question. I've been approached by a few different tech companies, and there is a little bit of apprehension there. So I want to make sure that I ask the right questions during those interviews, and to see what the future lies for those companies, and to make sure they have the proper head count, and to really stay long term with a company that I truly enjoy working with. And I have 2 interviews lined up Friday, and then one initial interview from a different company on Wednesday, so 3 total this week. So just been trying to organize in Excel documents on where my status is on each company that I interview with, and just to get a base plan going. So I have a plan to have something and have some income for the month to come. So
yeah, way to go.
Where I'm at.
Yeah, that's awesome. Way to go. Well played. You're playing this right. You didn't freeze like a deer in the headlights and didn't question your own sanity. Instead, you went right to work replacing the gig. And when you get the new gig, it does turn the $22,000 into a signing bonus effectively, right?
Yep.
Good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you need the money? Do you have an emergency fund?
I do. I recently opened a high-yield savings because I want to keep some liquidity during this time. But the only debt that I have is my mortgage. I'm currently driving my grandmother's old car, rest her soul. It's about to have the wheels fall off, but I've been...
What do you make?
Very... before I was let go, I made $72,000 my first year.
What will you make this year with this new gig? Probably more, right?
More than likely. That's still a little bit unknown. Just
yeah, well, obviously you hadn't landed it, but I mean, the marketplace for what you're doing is probably more like 100, isn't it?
Yeah, for like on-target earnings. I mean, I'm looking for like a base of at least like 60. And
you sound like you're single with the words you're using. Are you single?
I am single, but I've been with my lady for about 2.5 years now.
How old are you?
I'm very blessed to have her in my life. I am 33.
Okay. I would buy a car with the money. Not necessarily a $22,000 car, but it sounds like you're driving a freaking hoopty and you're making $100,000, and I think you need to move up.
Okay.
Is that okay? I'm not trying to insult your grandmother or anything, but
no. No.
You're driving a $2,000 car, aren't you?
Pretty much.
And you make $100,000 and you got no debt but your mortgage.
Correct.
Yeah, you need a $10,000 car.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting you go buy a freaking Ferrari, okay? But I would move up a little bit, and then I'm talking about paying off the mortgage past that, or if I need to do some other miscellaneous purchase. How much money have you got in savings?
Right now it's about $15,000.
Okay. Yeah, you may want to beef that up a little bit to have a little better emergency fund than that. So I'm probably throwing about 12 on that and about 10 towards the car if I'm you. What do you think, George?
Yeah. And if you look at your budget, if you're doing a monthly budget, look at 3 to 6 months. My guess is it needs to lean closer to $20,000 in that emergency fund, and then whatever's left, get yourself a good, reasonable used car, and then you want that emergency fund until you land this next gig because we don't know. Hopefully, you land it this week. But
Well,
we just don't know.
I wouldn't buy anything until you land the gig, but I think you're going to land the gig before the other one's up, and it
celebrate.
does effectively become a signing bonus, and you get a raise moving into the next thing. So, yeah, I meant to ask him which big tech fired him.
I know. I didn't know if he was willing to mention.
I was willing to trash him.
Does it start with a G?
Oh, well.
Just go by letters.
It's in Chicago, yeah. Yeah. So we were just in Indy. I guess Salesforce is based in Indy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to conferences out there when I was back in the marketing days.
Okay. All right. Because they had a huge tower that said Salesforce on it.
Yeah, was it?
I didn't ever ask anybody in Indianapolis if that was the main office, but I suppose it is. So he's in Chicago, so it's not Salesforce.
We know
they've
that.
laid off a bunch of
Was
people.
it like 12,000 over at Salesforce? I know it was somewhere in that
dumped
range.
a bunch of them in the street trying to get stock
Well, the good
price
news
up.
is these people are highly qualified, highly talented, highly sought after.
Oh.
And so the goal is they land something real quick if you're in that position.
Yeah, there's the layoffs are out there, man. It's real. And so we got just a second, but here's what Drew did right. Okay, he didn't take big tech throwing him in the street as a personal identity crisis. I'm not good. I'm not worthy. I'm a bad person. I'm not good enough to keep. I'm yesterday's refuge to throw out to the curb. Instead, he went, oh, this is big tech. They're stupid. And I'm going to roll with this, and I'm going to land with my skill set in something that pays me as much or more before my gig here is up, and the severance that they give me effectively becomes a signing bonus to the next gig, all because of his attitude. He just positioned himself, went, oh, okay, I need to go I'm a sales guy. I need to go make a sale, and the new sale is my next gig, and I'm going to start calling on customers. And I'm going to develop a spreadsheet, my customer list. And I'm going to work that thing, and I'm going to figure out which one I want to be at. Boy, because too many times people get knocked out of the saddle and they lay in the mud and cry, for about 4 weeks, and they give up their chance. And that's human nature. It's okay if you cry. It hurts when you get knocked out of the saddle. It pisses you off, hurts your feelings, everything else. And you just lay around whine about it. And that's normal. I do the same kind of stuff. But the guys like him that kind of land on their feet and then go do this, it changes the economics of the situation by $25,000 or $30,000.
Well, and having no debt also, it makes the tears go away a lot faster when you don't have to worry about your payments to those lenders the next month.
That's a good point.
He put himself in a great spot.
They're tears of joy.
That's right.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. This is The Ramsey Show.
Y'all, there's a lot you can't control when it comes to healthcare, but there is something you should check out that can help. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is not insurance. It is budget-friendly, biblically based health cost sharing. That means a community of members helping share the burden of each other's healthcare costs. They help people just like you in all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Learn more today at chministries.org/budget.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Jordan and Alyssa are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Wonderful.
Hey,
how are you?
excellent.
Better than I deserve. Where do you guys live?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I was just there. Got home last night.
Awesome.
Spoke up there at a church this weekend on Saturday and Sunday at River Valley. It was a good place. We had a great time. So, how much debt have you guys paid off?
$97,731. We also cash flowed about $60,000 during that time.
Okay. How long did this take?
About 5 years.
All right. And your range of income during that time?
Starting at $65,000, ending at about $99,000.
Okay, cool. What was the $98,000 in debt?
It was our house.
Oh, look at the weird people.
Yes, you are.
How old are you two?
We are 30 years old.
You're
you
not
have a-
allowed to have a paid-for house that young.
You did.
It's against the law.
It's against the law. You're not allowed to do that. The house police are going to come. Way to go, guys!
That's amazing.
What's this house worth?
300 to 350.
I love it. You're so weird. This is great. All right, what was the $60,000 you cash flowed during this time?
Well, the house that we bought was a total fixer-upper house.
Uh-huh.
She reluctantly agreed to getting it, but it's what we could afford. So the upstairs needed to be completely remodeled. The downstairs was unfinished. Vehicles, we've got 4 kiddos over here. Cash flowed them. Our garage, actually, we ended up needing to raise the garage so the vehicles fit in it.
Oh, there's that.
A lot of things. Yep.
Was it a short garage or a tall vehicle?
Short garage in the
Wow.
60s, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
So,
Good for you guys.
yeah, speaking of weird, that's actually where I first got connected with you. I was living in California at the time, and Craig Rochelle did a series on weird, how to be weird. And you came on and talked about how to be weird with your finances. And ever since then, I thought, you know what? I want to be wealthy someday. That's how I want to do finances. Fast forward to 2012, because I was living in California, I came home to Minnesota, and I met Alyssa, and we decided, you know what, we're going to do this long-distance relationship while I'm living out there. So when I remember exactly where I was standing one time in California, I was like, you know what, we should probably talk about this money thing, this debt thing. So I called her and I said, what do you have for debt? Do you have any debt?
And to be truly honest with you, I had no idea how much debt I had. I had student loans, and then I also had credit cards. And where I come from, my family finances are very private. So to be super transparent, I said none of your business, and I hung up on you.
Good answer. Good answer.
So I realized, okay, well,
You're going to have to earn some more stripes for you. Ask this question, buddy.
this is a baseline. We can only go up from here. So I felt like, you know, the Lord still wanted me to marry her. I was very strong about that. So anyways, fast forward to 2013, I was going to be moving back to Minnesota, finished out school. And Alyssa came out. She flew out. We packed up my paid-for Mustang GT, and I bought a used set of Total Money Makeover discs. I figured what better time to be trapped in a car and listen to some Dave Ramsey on the way home and get on the same page. So that's what we did, and we were on our way home. And, you know, it was actually really good. We got to talk about our dreams and really the why behind the what. And that's when we learned, hey, someday we want to be able to save up and buy a house. Someday we want to have kids, that sort of thing. And so,
Yeah, and I'll just add, too, that I shared it was really important to me to be able to stay at home when we did have kids.
Yeah.
Yep. So we got home. I sold the 2 sports cars that I had and the motorcycles and the toys. And we said, you know what? Let's pay off. Once we figured out how much debt she had, let's pay it off and start from a clear slate. So that was 2013. We got married. And then Alyssa's parents were gracious enough to let us live with them while we tried to get on our feet, tried to save up for a house one day. And during that period, we had our first kid, cash flowed all that. And then 2015 came when we finally bought our first house, which was a total fixer-upper home. And I'll never forget it. We didn't have a bunch of money to fix up the house, and so I was doing a lot of the remodeling myself. And one day, Alyssa came over and handed me this little shirt that said, Big Brother. Meaning we were having another kid on the way, which was somewhat planned, but it was just a lot of new stuff.
His first response was, I better get back to work.
Better get back to work. Yep. So then we had our other kid in 2016, so we had 2 boys, and we're like, okay, Lord, eventually it'd be nice to have a girl. So we decided 3, and we're done. We're going to have 3 kids, and we're going to be done.
Sure you are.
Yep. So 2017 comes, and we started to finally be able to pay a little bit extra on our house, maybe $100 here, $100 there. We were trying for our 3rd kid. Well, we ended up going to the doctor and finding out we having twins. So put everything on pause again. So although it was 5 years, there was a lot of life happening.
That's a lot of cash flowing. You said you cash flowed the kids, and I went, so what? But you did cash flow them. Okay, I get it.
We cash flowed the kids. So that's, turned our life upside down. It's like, okay, we really need to finish our basement now. We had a basement that took on water, so we had to do drain tile. We had to put an egress window, fix the grading around the house, buy a newer vehicle, raise the garage so we could fit in it.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? This is an amazing story.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is contentment. We paid our house off in October 2022, and we had the opportunity to be in Florida together, just the two of us, and we were sitting on the beach, and we were just reflecting the last several years, and I was like, do you recall anything? And we really said no to. And we were like, we can't really think of anything. And we were just so thankful because we just really felt like it was always a yes if it was important, but maybe it wasn't this month, maybe it wasn't this season, but it was a yes and it was penciled in, and then we would have our game plan. And we would just always be really thankful and content in that way. That was a big piece.
And this whole time we tithed too. We never didn't tithe. So we tithed through the whole thing. And, October 2022, we finally made our last payment, and we even had our email was Brinkman22. Our mortgage login was Brinkman22 because that was always our goal from the beginning. And it was a bittersweet month. We lost Alyssa's dad that month, which was really sad, and a lot of good things happening, a lot of bad, and and we're also had the biggest increase that we've ever had too. So we're projected to make a lot more now this year, and then the significant amount in the years to come too. So it's really cool. We've got a really good foundation to kind of build off of.
Well, you guys have been so faithful and intentional. While most people are sleepwalking and just floating through life, you guys went, what if we actually work together? And what you found was that life doesn't slow down. And so most people are going, well, I'll just wait till life's crazy right now. Let's have the kids, then we'll focus on this get out of debt thing. But you guys were just steady the entire time while life was happening, and I just commend you for that. What an impressive couple.
Very well done, guys.
Yeah.
Great job. Who was cheering you on?
I would say our parents were the biggest one. Yeah.
Friends, we had awesome friends. They're like, we don't know really what you're doing, but you got this.
Well, now they're wondering.
You're crazy,
they're going,
but you're really good at it.
They don't have a mortgage payment. Maybe we should look into that.
Yeah, I think it was until then they realized, maybe you guys were serious, and now there is something to that, So, and the big thing too was having our kids. We wanted to really focus on changing our family tree financially, but also, instilling in them contentment and thankfulness along the way. We live an extravagant life in this country, and just instilling that into them. And in this next season, we definitely want to get a new house at some point. We don't know when or where, and we would like to hit the millionaire mark inside of 10 years, by the time we're 40. So
way to go. Hey, we got the Live and Give bundle for you. Let's bring the kiddos on up. The Total Money Makeover book for you to give away, a Baby Steps Millionaire book to read because you're almost one now, and, of course, a one-year membership to Financial Peace University. You can either use it or you can give it away. What are their names and ages?
Yeah, so we've got the oldest here, Jackson. He's 9. Samuel's 6. And we've got the twins, Oliver and Abby, and they're 4.
All right. 98,000 plus 60,000 cash flowed all in 5 years. House and everything. 30 years old while having 4 kids. It can be done, ladies and gentlemen. Making 65 to 99. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Way to go, you guys! This is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Wow! This is The Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Where did you find that? George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. That was direct to the booth dudes who picked out some strange bump music there, George.
That's a new one. I know them all.
I think I'm on The Price is Right. $1, Bob.
It's like a hip game show. I would love to see you on The Price is Right, Dave.
Ugh.
It's not too late.
That or stuck on an elevator. I don't know what happened. All right, up next is Jacqueline in San Antonio. Hey, Jacqueline, how are you?
Hi, guys. I'm well, thank you.
Better than we deserve. Good. How can we help? You didn't even ask, but I answered anyway. What's up?
Hey, you know, I already knew the answer.
I'm on autopilot, Jacqueline. How can we help?
I have a beautiful, responsible 19-year-old daughter who lives with us and is about to make me a grandmother. I know it's funny I said responsible first, right?
Except for that one time, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. My question, well, financially responsible, hardworking, excellent work ethic, and morally sound. My question is, how much should I be helping her throughout this pregnancy and throughout the first month? It was obviously unplanned, and she's had a hard time with processing the whole thing, and she is now unable to work. So I'm just kind of looking to you. It was sort of a light came on as I was driving and listening to you, and I thought, I respect Dave's answers, so let's run it by him.
Well, I appreciate that. Sometimes when I'm facing something like that is a little bit ethically or morally, or I don't even know, those aren't the right words, relationally overwhelming, it helps me to say, not what is the right answer today, but what do I do today that is the right answer for 10 years from now?
Exactly. Because we have a strong foundation with our kids of teaching them financial responsibility. Yeah. You know, we go by yours for years and years.
And so what you got is,
circumstance we
obviously a baby is an awesome, wonderful thing, particularly grandbabies. If I'd have known how great grandbabies were going to be, I'd have been nicer to their parents. So, you know, all of that part is wonderful. So this is a bad metaphor, but I would almost say, what if she had a car wreck and couldn't work? She ran a red light. It was her fault. And then she got hurt, right? That's not a really good metaphor because it's not as, babies are much sweeter than that, right? But,
right.
But I mean, that's kind of how I think I probably would look at it. I'm just thinking like a grandpa right now or like a dad. And
that's where my brain is stuck.
This is not a 39-year-old who's done heroin for 15 years and hates me. This is a 19-year-old that messed up, made a mistake that otherwise has led a pretty good life, is what you're describing to me.
That's correct, yeah. When our kids graduate high school...
Thank God didn't throw all of us out in the ditch the first time we made a mistake. So I got lots of grace and mercy in this situation. If it's me, I'm just going to take care of her like she's 17.
Yeah.
And then, but all with the idea that we're going to lead towards a sustainable answer when she's 25. So what's sustainable for her when she's 25? Well, obviously, financial responsibility, career responsibility, mommy responsibility, living on her own and sustaining and developing a life, whether she does that as a single mom or later on gets married to someone, right?
Do you mind if I add one more thing in?
Okay.
When they graduate high school, we have them pay us rent immediately. And the thing is, their grades stay up in college. When they graduate, they get all that money back. So it's basically savings. If they don't, we keep it.
Yeah.
She was able to, in school, pay us rent $500 a month. And she also saved $6,000 working full-time in 6 months. So she has $7,000 in her savings account. And really my question was, do I even let her touch that?
No. Are you guys okay financially, you and your husband?
We are. We're debt-free besides our house.
Yeah, this is not a financial lesson. This is I'm loving my daughter through a very, very tough time. She had a car wreck, you know?
That's very validating.
Yeah. That's what I would do. And I'm pretty hardcore on tough love, as they call it. But this is not tough love. This is not a time for that. For me, this is a little scared pregnant girl, and I'm going to put my arms around her. I'm going to love her. She's mine, and we're going to get her through this. But not with the idea that she lives in your basement until she's 39, but the idea that she's going to, because you gave her some room here to heal and to, not heal, but to go through this process, and heal. It's been traumatic, I'm sure.
Yes.
And so to go through and get back on her feet emotionally, relationally, make better choices going forward. This is not a pattern that represents her life. And so let's get back on that track that she was on. And then you got a 25-year-old that's an amazing human being it's an amazing mom and everybody's happy and proud. Again, I'm not enabling into the distant future, but on the short term here, I just completely take care of her. As if she was in ICU or something. What do you think, George?
Yeah, I'm with that. And I'm also wondering, you said she's unable to work. Is that just a short-term thing? What does that look like?
It is. She developed a pregnancy disease around 5 to 6 weeks in her pregnancy before she could even process. And she became so sick that she was hospitalized. The good news is that it does go away the moment she delivers. And she is managed now. The hospitalization helps them to manage her sickness. And so she is medicated and she's managed at this point and able to function, but it's very unpredictable. So she's not able to get another job.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a 19-year-old and a baby.
Yeah.
Just take care of them.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Again,
that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay. You're a good mom. You got a good heart. And you're not, you've raised I know you're tough because you raised a kid that has work ethic. You raised a kid you're making her pay rent. You raised a kid that did this and that and this and that. And so you're not a pushover enabler mom. I don't think. I didn't hear that.
Well, I think that's where it goes into the long-term ramifications. If this is still a decade from now and we're still living like this in the basement, that's where we need to go. We need to have an exit strategy out of this too once she's healed up and on her feet.
In my mind, this is the perpendicular opposite of someone who's 31 years old and does this and is belligerent and says, if you don't help me, you'll never see your grandkid and all that kind of stuff. I have a completely different reaction to that person than I do this 19-year-old kid. And if you're 19 and you don't like me calling you a kid, I got socks older than you, so just calm down. That's the deal. That just means I love you is all that means. It doesn't mean that I'm putting you down, but I got a little more rings around the tree. So
that's a nice way to put it.
A little more age going here. So, that's the thing. So, what you're looking for in relational things, period, but certainly in financial relational things, is you're looking for patterns, not singular events. And patterns cause you to endorse a situation or to avoid a situation. And that keeps you from becoming an enabler if you're wondering out there and you're a mom and a dad. So if you've got a 37-year-old that lives in your basement and will not work, that's a pattern. You need to kick said butt into the street because you're not a blessing to them. You are a curse to them. You are an enabler. You have stolen their dignity, the dignity of autonomy, the dignity of standing on your own, the dignity of hard work, the dignity of killing something and dragging it home. The only thing they know how to do is play Nintendo, and it's your fault. You should be ashamed. That's a different pattern for moms and dads. And we got that out there because we got a group of males that aren't yet men that are stuck in their mommy's basement. And mommy's still doing their dadgum laundry. And if you don't like that, that's okay. Get you a show. This is mine. So that's how this works. Wow.
Well, nothing will turn you into an adult like having a baby. So the maturity, we just hit the fast forward button right there.
Just getting a puppy will do it. But my gosh, a baby, woo, that'll push it right there. This is the Ramsey Show. George Camel Ramsey personality is my co-host on the debt-free stage. Cade and Mackenzie are with us. Hey guys, how are you?
We're great. How are you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. Welcome. Where do y'all live?
Twin Falls, Idaho.
Oh, cool. Welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you paid off?
We paid off $227,000, $199.94.
Whoa! Good for you. And how long did this take?
9 months.
9 months?
Yeah.
What do you guys make?
We started at $155,000, ended the year at $188,000.
Okay. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a physical therapist and part owner in my company.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a program coordinator at a hospital in community health.
Oh, very cool. All right. So you did not make $227,000 during the 9 months. Something must have been sold to accomplish this. What was it?
It was the house.
Sold your house?
Yes.
Okay. So where are you living?
We bought another house.
Okay. All right.
So with the raise with COVID, all the house prices, stuff like that, we sold our house for $350,000, paid off $147,000 of that mortgage, bought a $170,000 house, remodeled it, cash flowed that. So that helped us quite a bit with getting rid of the mortgage part and then a little bit extra for the debt.
Okay, so did you clear the house?
Yeah.
So your house debt-free as well?
Yep.
Okay,
Wow.
I was trying to follow that math. Yeah, good. Wow. All right.
Incredible.
So you sold a house and that enabled you to buy a fixer-upper for cash and pay off all your debt.
Well,
Did I get that right?
yeah. So the house sale got rid of the mortgage and bought the house and gave us $30,000 to pay off $78,000 of our consumer debt.
Got it.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you cash flowed a bunch of it. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Way to go, you guys.
Yeah, thank
How long
you.
y'all been married?
We got married in August. We're newlyweds.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so the first order of business is all this, hide the pea under the shell, right? We start moving everything around. We're going to get all this straightened out. So what got you guys so motivated right into marriage?
Yeah, I think for us, we really just wanted to start a marriage and our relationship just long term, where finances weren't ever something we fought about or, something that we struggled over. We really wanted that to just not be an issue at the table. So that was like our first big why. And then also just given my physical disability, being a paraplegic, knowing we don't want insurance to dictate like what I can have medically long term to say you can only get a new wheelchair every 5 years. Like now we can just buy me a wheelchair whenever we want. So
Do whatever we need to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in control.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been in the chair?
Almost 16 years now.
Oh, okay. What happened?
I was in a car accident. I was 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. And who's the service dog? What's his name?
This is Price, like a price tag, which is kind of fitting. So
That's
we
perfect.
brought him.
Yeah, I guess.
Beautiful pup.
Good lab, huh? Yeah.
Yes.
Good boy. All right.
So what was
Very
the
cool.
consumer debt on this?
So we had a car that was $5,600, and then my business loan to buy into my partnership at the physical therapy clinic was almost $73,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's paid off. Does it make the business partnership different now?
Yeah. It's one of those things. Instead of worrying about getting rid of my debt for that, it's how can I make my employees thrive? How can I help them reach this status and feel this free?
That's amazing.
Changes your position as a leader when you have no masters.
Yes.
Yeah. So what hooked you up to the Ramsey way?
Well,
I'll let you start.
I've read your book before. It was handed to me by my brother and his wife. She ended up becoming a financial coach through Ramsey. And so when we first started this, we're like, hey, let's call her and have her help us get our finances together the right way, because we didn't know how to do that. So that was the beginning of that.
That's pretty cool. Well, that's an interesting dynamic for your sister-in-law and your future sister-in-law to be speaking into your money. That requires a certain amount of trust to her, obviously, but a humility on your part, too.
Yeah, no, she was great. And I think for me, I read Rachel Cruz's book. I'm definitely more of the free spirit, and that way he's definitely the saver. But she really just helped us get on the same page with the budget and really giving every dollar a place, and that helped me a ton, just thinking about like the budget is actually me telling how we're going to spend our money. And so having Macy by our side to just kind of like really understand how the Ramsey plan works and like going through that process was a game changer. So we appreciate those coaches.
Was she your biggest cheerleader? Were there any others on this journey for you guys?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of cheerleaders.
Yeah.
People at work, friends. Family was a big one, both our parents and helping us with the remodel, because we just did all the work ourselves. And we'd tell people what we're doing. They're like, really? Okay. You look kind of weird, but
you're a little different. So how old are you two?
31.
All right.
Both of us.
Wow.
How's it feel to be completely free?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it feels good. I think it was interesting right when we started in January. We became emergency guardians to my 8-year-old nephew and kind of parents overnight. And it kind of felt like a roadblock at first, but I think if anything, it just got us more focused and taught us the value of like what this can do for us long term for our family. And it was tough, but it's definitely worth it. Your quote, live like no one else now so you can live like no one else later, we have it on a big whiteboard with our goals, and it's just really kept us gazelle intense. So, yeah.
You guys are a power couple, without a doubt. You're amazing. Way to go. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Good work, good work, good work. All right, we got the Live and Give bundle for you, the Financial Peace, or the Total Money Makeover book, the Baby Steps Millionaires book, both #1 bestsellers, and, of course, a one-year membership to Financial Peace University. If you've done all of those or read all of them, give them to somebody and help them. That's what they're for, the Live and Give bundle. So it's very proud of you guys. You're amazing, amazing couple.
Thank you.
Cade and Mackenzie, Twin Falls, Idaho, $227,000 paid off in the first 9 months of marriage at 31 years old. That's house and everything. Shut up. $155,000 to $188,000 income. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
We're debt free!
Yeah!
That's how it's done. I wanted the service dog to bark. If Price could have barked during the debt-free scream in an excitement, that would have been making history.
You know, I think Price is on the job. I don't think he's going to be doing
He's a true
anything
professional.
except just taking care of Miss McKenzie. That's the plan right there.
What an
Yeah.
amazing couple.
Wow. Very good stuff. Very cool. Hey, guys, the point of these debt-free screams is to remind all of you, and there's thousands of them now on YouTube. Literally thousands. That we meet people that have come back from the edge of suicide. They've come back from cancer. They've come back from divorce.
Prison,
they've come back from
you name
losing
it.
a job. They've come
Addictions.
back from every possible addictions. We come back from every possible thing that life can throw at humans. And in the midst of coming back from those things, also decide we're going to get our finances right. We're going to get our life where we don't have the weight around our neck, where we can't breathe at night. I remember when I was broke, George, and couldn't pay my bills. You wake up in the middle of the night, it felt like some 300-pound man standing on your chest. It's not how you're supposed to live. It's not how your heart's supposed to feel. It's not the way you're designed. So pay the price. Do whatever it takes to get free. And then come over here, hang out at Ramsey, and we'll put you on the debt-free stage and celebrate your victory because you're victorious. You're a victor.
Well, and there's so many reasons and excuses people have out there more than ever of why they can't. And what's amazing to me is when you realize it may not all be your fault, but it is your responsibility. The day you realize that is the day you can begin to take control.
Man, good one-liner.
Thank you.
If Twitter was real, we could put that on
I'd
Twitter.
tweet it, but it would just go into the abyss of negativity.
Yeah, it would just be sucked into the black hole. Oh, well. Hey, it was good on the air, though.
Thank
good
you.
job.
Good hour.
That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. George Camel, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Marley starts off this hour in Minneapolis. Hi, Marley. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Good. How can we help?
I am calling to get some advice on how we stop doing too many baby steps at once while in the middle of building a house.
Okay. How many are you doing?
Well, we are attempting to pay off debt, have a savings fund, and then also have over 20% of equity in our house, which we've already gotten that one. Now we're realizing we're starting in the middle of doing the baby steps, and we need to take a step back.
So the house is under construction.
Correct.
And you're under contract for it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
and we are building it ourselves, which is how we've gotten our equity with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that decision's done.
Yep.
Can't really undo it.
Nope.
Okay. So let's just set that aside, and you've got 20% equity because of the sweat equity, or you've got the actual cash?
A mix of both. We've paid quite a bit out of pocket already, then plus the sweat equity. So we will have well over 20%.
Okay. What do you need to finish the house in cash?
To finish the house in cash?
Mm-hmm. What cash do you need to finish this project that you've started?
We would need $400,000. So that's what our mortgage will end up being when we are done.
No.
If I'm
That's your mortgage is not cash. Your mortgage is borrowed money. I'm talking about how much money do you need in the bank to finish this project?
I see. We're having a lot of cash flow coming in and out, but we're taking draws both forehand. So really, that's all being done with the bank paying for the expenses as they're coming.
So you have a construction loan?
Correct, yep.
Okay. In addition to the construction loan, do you have any cash needs?
No.
For the house?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you took no cash out of your budget, you can finish the house with the construction loan and get your permanent mortgage, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. So then,
Okay.
that project now, we can kind of seal the wall on that, no pun intended, and push that to the side. That's taken care of. Now let's go work the baby steps.
Okay.
So what is your income?
120 gross.
All right. And how much debt do you have?
Not counting the house.
62.
All right. What kind of debt is the 62 made up of?
50,000 in vehicles and 12,000 in college.
What are the vehicles?
We have 2 of them. One is majority of it, and that is a Chevy Tahoe, and then a Honda Civic.
Now, what do you owe on the Tahoe?
40,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If I woke up in your shoes, I'd sell the Tahoe. I'd amputate the Tahoe.
Okay.
You call me because you're stressed out, freaked out, and you got money going out 14 different directions and you can't breathe.
Yeah.
And you're driving a freaking $40,000 truck while you're trying to build a house in the middle of it.
Yep.
I would want my life back more than I wanted the Tahoe.
Okay.
If I were you. You're pretty easy on this. It's your car, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it is ours. It's just convincing my husband to do that has been the...
What's his problem? He loves the stress?
It's more of the stuck on we're going to be in the hole if we get rid of it. And
Well, you're already in the hole. When you get rid of it, you just admit it.
yeah. Yeah. He thinks paying it off and then having it until it runs into the ground is...
That would have been a good idea if you did that before you built a house.
That would have helped, yes.
Because right now you guys have nothing in savings because you need it all?
Yeah, well, nothing that we could throw at any of the debt right now, other than we have extra cash flow each month, and so we've been throwing that at our house. But
Why?
now it's like, well,
I thought the construction loan was covering the house.
yeah, we've just been trying to pay as much cash as possible, and now after
Meanwhile, you're driving a $40,000 Tahoe.
doing that and that too.
Yeah, this is bass backwards, kiddo. You guys got to clean this debt up, and you've got the dadgum cash set up to do with the construction loan to finish the house. Just finish the house with the debt. You've already committed to that. That's a hole you've dug. You're set for that. That's a done deal. And it's not completely out of control. It's just out of order. And so it's not the end of the world. And then I would look up and say, if I can't get these cars and this $60,000 paid off in less than a year, I'm dumping this Tahoe. And I'm probably just dumping it. It just doesn't fit in this equation. Because here's the thing. Your husband does not feel the risk that you all are carrying, and you feel it.
Yep. Yep.
It's really bothering you, and he's walking along whistling through the woods, and a bear is getting ready to kill him. And you know there's bears, and for some reason he's unaware there's a bear. You follow me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you need to grab him by his face with your 2 hands, put the kids to bed, turn off the television, put the screens down, and look in him in the eyes and say, I am so scared I can't breathe. You're killing me.
Okay.
Because that's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he honestly, listen, you know how I know this guy? I'm him. I did this exact same crap to my wife in my 20s. Because I don't have a risk meter. I just go do crap. And if it's wrong, I'll go do something else. And that's him, okay? And he's whistling along in the middle of dadgum bear country here, and he's attracting grizzlies and doesn't even know what they look like. And his wife is actually smart, and she's going, this is scary! And my wife was doing the exact same thing. I about ran her in the ditch, man. I about killed her. So I'm telling you, I'm begging him as the old guy who made the same mistakes he did to listen to his wife, who can find a virtuous wife. Her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, and he will have no lack of gain. Wow. Listen to your wife, men.
Timeless wisdom.
If she's virtuous, listen to her. If she's a princess, that's different. But if she's virtuous, you need to listen to her. She's probably smarter than you are. And in this case, that's true. The case of Dave and the case of Marley's husband.
Yeah.
No question.
This isn't, hey, Dave Ramsey said we have to sell the Tahoe. This is, I'm so scared we have to do something drastic to get to safety.
Because you run around chasing your tail is not making me happy. making me unhappy, stressed, anxiety. Dr. John Deloney could do a clinic on this. Wow. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to save up to 45% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com now to learn more. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. Tickets are going fast for our Building Wealth live tour. We were just in Indianapolis. It was a complete sellout. Thank you to the 3,100 of you that came out there. This week, I will be in Austin, Texas for a sold-out event on Thursday evening, February 23rd, with Ken Coleman, Dr. John Deloney, Jade Warshaw. April 24th, I'll be in Salt Lake City with Rachel Cruz, George Camel, and Christina Ellis. You can still get a ticket to that one. And May 2nd, me, Ken Coleman, Dr. John Deloney, Christina Ellis will be in Anaheim. Tickets are $49. They start at $49, and you can get a 4-pack starting as low as $175. I will be there at each of these events live. People will be signing books and answering questions. We'll be doing a panel. I'll be yakking at you and encouraging you. And bring your friends who think all this stuff's crazy. We might convert one of them. You never know. We might help them to move from the dark side.
Sometimes it takes seeing them in person. It's a different experience than just the show or a book.
It is. And if you're doing this stuff, this Ramsey Way stuff, it's a good pep rally for you, you know?
Wealth building is a journey. And so it's, if it's a 20-year journey, you need a little pick-me-up every now and then to remind yourself. RamseySolutions.com/events. RamseySolutions.com/events. Well, if you're planning a move soon, that can be expensive, but I got great news. Our studio sponsor, Pods Moving and Storage, wants to help one of you move for free. All you need to do is get a quote from pods.com/Ramsey between February 20th and March 3rd and enter to win. It is really that simple.
Somebody's going to get a free move valued up to $5,000 and $10,000 in cold hard cash. That's $15,000 worth of value.
That's impressive.
Costs you nothing. So Pods makes moving easier, the flexibility you need, the control you want, the customer service you deserve. They're a great company. That's why we've allowed them to be Ramsey trusted and sponsor the studio, the Pods Moving and Storage Studio for the Ramsey Show.
Love it.
At pods.com/Ramsey, enter for a chance to win a free move and $10,000 in cash. Pods.com/Ramsey. Don't miss that. That's a lot of money. All right, Erica's with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Erica, what's up?
Hi, George. Thank you so much for taking my call. Hi, Dave.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
So I had a question, and it is pretty much whether or not I should pay off my car. I know how it sounds, but Pretty much, I have 19K in savings right now, and there's 16K left on my car. But right now, with the tech layoff,
There's how much
and
left on your
everything-
car? Wait a minute, say it again.
Oh, 16K?
16,000, and you have 19,000 in savings.
Yes,
And what do you make?
and that's not including in retirement savings.
Okay, and what do you make?
70K.
Okay. You're single?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
What's your hesitation? Why don't you want to pay the car off?
So, like, with tech layoffs and everything, I just did not want to pay off the car and did not have any savings.
With what and everything? What'd you say?
You're saying tech layoffs? Do you work for one of the big tech companies?
Yes.
And there's been layoffs at this company recently?
Yes.
What do you think the percentage chance is you're going to be laid off? 50-50, 70-30, 90-10?
I'm honestly not sure. They seem to be random.
That's so
that's what I was
comforting.
asking
What a
myself
wonderful
as well.
place to work.
Just
What
never
do you
know if you're on the
make?
chopping block.
What do you make? 70.
70,000.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an IT security analyst.
An IT what analyst?
Security
Security analyst.
Okay.
Oh, good Lord. Why are you only making 70? IT security is huge. Have you shopped around, looked at jobs?
I have, and that's my plan. But of course, until that happens, I just didn't know.
No, I want your plan to be like by Friday. Why would you hang out at this place? It's unstable, unpredictable, and random.
That's true.
And you can make 100 working someplace else.
That's also true.
I think so. I got security people working here, and they have IT by their name. Could be wrong. Maybe I'm overpaying them. I don't know. It depends on what you're doing. I'm joking around. But I really think you're in a sweet spot. That is a very, very hot field that you're in. I don't know what level of certifications you've got or how far up in experience you are, but I would be poking around out there and see what I can find. Have you heard of Ken Coleman that is on the Ramsey Show here that has his own show on careers?
Oh, I have.
Okay. Have you got any of his stuff yet? Because I'm going to send it to you.
I do not. I just have your stuff, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. All right, we're going to send you his book, From Paycheck to Purpose, and we're going to send you the Get Clear Assessment for Career. And I'm going to throw in another book called Proximity Principle, which is one of his big steps on getting a new job. And I want you to go look for a job. Why would you stay there?
Okay, I do understand.
No, why would you stay there? Is there a good reason I'm missing?
I don't know there's a strong reason. So I graduated in 2021 in the fall, so in December. And so I worked here for like a year and a half.
Okay. Well, Erica, here's the deal. If you pay off the car today, you free up a car payment, and you just start saving up that emergency fund again. And even if you do get laid off, there's probably going to be severance with some cash involved. And so you're going to be okay. So I wouldn't let this whole thing paralyze you into not paying off your debt.
Exactly. And here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's what's bothering me as the old guy in the conversation, okay? I'm doing that a lot today. But anyway, I don't want you, because we care about you, we love you, we want you to win. I don't want you to have any part of your life paralyzed by a company that is being led poorly. And when they leave their team in a position of uncertainty, feeling that they randomly could be killed at any moment, that's where you are. They've left you, they've paralyzed your life. Your life is on hold while you hold your breath to see if they're going to shoot you or not. Right?
That's true.
And I want more for you than that. That's why I don't think they deserve you. I think you need to go get something else for your sake, because I don't want any part of your life on hold, because everything, you're just kind of looking over your shoulder every morning going, when's it coming? When's it coming? When's it coming? When are they going to get, when are they going to take me out from the back here?
It's like Hunger Games out there.
Stabbed in the, yeah, exactly.
Goodness.
The big tech Hunger Games are underway, boys and girls. Yeah, that's true.
And you're waiting for a random email to figure out that you got laid off.
I mean, there's no indication.
If you're lucky.
And so what you've got is, let me tell you how bad their leadership sucks, okay? They've got their entire workforce thinking like her. That is not a recipe for productivity, loyalty, creativity, It is not a delivery of products. It's not a recipe for winning. And so if there's a portion, leadership, if you got a real problem, just stand up and go, look, about 10% of you may not make it. The rest of you are safe because we're trying to turn the corner here on a mess. And the 10% that aren't going to make it are going to kind of look like this. And so if you fall in those categories, you should be holding your breath. The rest of you are okay. But they got the whole stinking place frozen because they're wusses as corporate leaders. Classic corporate America crap. It's exactly what
you're asking is for corporate leaders to have integrity. That's asking a lot, Dave.
Well, I mean, you can be a corporate leader with integrity, but then you wouldn't be corporate America. So, yeah. Oh my God. So big
just
tech.
Walking on eggshells. How are you focused at work if you're worried that it might be your last day?
You're not. All you're doing is looking around going, oh.
You're at the water cooler going,
where did George go?
Next?
George was here yesterday.
Oh.
It's the rapture, big tech rapture.
I feel. But you know what? Our plan works in good times and bad times. So if that's you out there, the best position you can put yourself in is being debt-free with a fully funded emergency fund. And be looking for that next thing.
Yeah, check out Ken Coleman's materials. They're all at kencoleman.com, guys. And, hey, work for a place that deserves you. And, we got 1,100 people here. We communicate with them real clearly. Can you imagine?
I ain't scared. I'll be here tomorrow.
This is The Ramsey Show. We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. We're glad you're here. On the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, Mark and Ashley are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
We're great. We're great. Glad to be here.
Good to have you guys. Where do you live?
Homer, New York, south of Syracuse.
Oh, fun. Welcome to Nashville. And how much have you paid off?
$124,000.
Ah, cool. How long did this take?
6 years and 4 months.
All right. And your range of income during that time?
47,000 to 110.
Wow, good. What do y'all do for a living?
High school science teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a wedding videographer.
Awesome, very good. What kind of debt was the $124,000?
It was our car, solar panels, student loans, and our house.
You were kind of normal, and now you're weird.
Yep.
Way to go, you guys. What's this house worth?
About 140,000.
Phenomenal. Way to go, you guys. How's it feel to be completely free?
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very relaxed.
Kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been working on it a long time.
Yes.
You've been digging on this. Tell us your story. How'd you get connected to this Ramsey Way stuff?
Yeah. So June 2016, we had 2 little kids at home. He was early in his teaching career. I was just starting my business. We really weren't making a lot of money at the time. But I thought that we were doing pretty good with our money based on how much we were making. But then our church said, we're going to have this Financial Peace University class. And I thought, I think that maybe we should take this. We were doing what I learned later is that we were doing a really good job tracking our spending, but not so much planning it ahead of time. I said to him, I think we should take Financial Peace and see if we can be doing anything better.
And I said, no, we're good.
Because you're a teacher. I love it.
Yeah, I thought we were doing well.
So
Ashley
you
said.
did you lose the argument, or did you go to class?
We're here.
You went to class. Okay.
Was there more convincing needed? How did you respond to it?
I was just like, we had heard a couple of other couples that we really admired had taken the class. We really looked up to them, and I said, well, if we don't like what we hear, we can just go back to what we're doing because we think that what we're doing is pretty good. So we could always do that. And we were just so busy at the time with diapers and bottles, and he was working extra at school to try to make more money. And
it felt like another thing.
Yeah.
And,
because it was.
Right. And the key was, though, the logical standpoint. We could take the class, and if we don't like what we hear, we can just go back to what we were doing.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's logical. That makes sense. And by, I think the debt lesson was like, all right, I'm in. We're changing what we're doing.
Good. So we got you in the middle of the class completely converted then and ready to go. What's your church name that did this?
The chapel.
Awesome. Very cool. Thanks to them for leading the class. That's wonderful. Way to go, you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, now you're old pros. You've been pushing this rock up the hill for 6 years. What's the secret to getting out of debt? What's the secret to sticking with it that long?
Yeah, two things. I think number one is just hating debt. Like I said, lesson two, the debt lesson was huge for me because I was like, well, most people, they take on loans, they take on credit cards, not a big deal. That's our culture. That's normal. And so I didn't think normal was bad. And so having that light bulb come on that said, okay, this is not okay. We really should shed all this debt. Was huge, was a big turning point for us.
And the second thing, I think we were new Christians at the time, and we had never really heard about tithing or, really giving generously. So through the class, we learned about that. And by the end of it, we were like, okay, we really want to commit to this completely. Like, we cut up the credit cards. We're going to do everything. We wanted to grow our generosity muscle. So week by week, we increased our giving to the church until we got to the full 10%. And I think that once we started doing that, we really started to see really big changes. Because I think that God can change your money situation, and He did by giving us more opportunities to work, giving Him more opportunities to work, and we took them. My business really started to take off. But then I think tithing also changes your heart. And it grew in our heart gratitude and contentment, and really being able to look at the bigger picture on what's really important and the legacy that we want to leave to our kids. And yeah, I think that's
Chapel actually gets to preach the next tithing message.
Seriously. That is so cool. And for those that do have a heart for generosity, this plan just lights you on fire because you're going, wait, I'm sending lenders $1,000 every month instead of things I actually care about, like my community and organizations. So you guys are incredible. What made you go, we're not just paying off the consumer debt, we're just going to keep going through the mortgage? Because that's a next level intensity.
Yeah.
You just lump it all together and go, any debt in our life we want gone.
Well, I think when we first started, it was just the consumer debt that we were going after, and then the mortgage was this far off, okay, that's way down the line.
Huge goal.
But I would be sitting there doing dishes, don't have a dishwasher in our house, and I'd be watching Debt-Free Screams, and these two little kids would be at my ankles watching with me, and I would hear people paying off their house, and I was like, can you imagine the freedom for that? And I kept thinking okay, that's going to be we're going to be 40, 45, even that would be crazy. And then God was just kind of you can do it in 6 years. And I was like, really? How? And then, He gave us the opportunities to do that. And we said, okay, we're doing it completely. So once that happened, we were just game on.
Cool. How much of the 6 years did you spend on the consumer debt?
2.
2. Okay. And then it took another 4 to knock the mortgage out.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Very good. Very good. You guys are above average. The typical is about 7 years from the time you get your consumer debt paid off, you knock the mortgage out. So overall, about a 10-year process, and that's what we typically see. But you guys wore that out. Way to go!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whoop,
Thank you.
whoop, whoop, whoop. I love it. Very,
So
very
what
cool.
do you tell that couple out there who's maybe where you guys were? We're going, well, it's normal is fine. Everything's fine. Why change? What do you say to that couple to shake them and wake them up?
Well, actually, we're financial peace coordinators, so we've taught the class at our church now a couple times.
Awesome.
And so we were always trying to convince people to take the class. And so I feel like for us, it's just being weird, being okay being weird, and owning it, and knowing that there's a freedom on the other side, and that you don't have to just live like everybody else.
Well, you don't have to say much. You just show up and you go, here's our story.
Right.
Here's what we did. And they go, tell me more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't really argue with your story. It's your story. Yeah, hard to put that down. It happened. That's what happened. So, Way to go, y'all. All right, bring the kiddos up. We've got a copy of the Live and Give bundle for you guys. That's the Baby Steps Millionaire's #1 best-selling book, and the Total Money Makeover #1 best-selling book, and another one-year membership to Financial Peace University. So as you're teaching it, now that you've gone through it, you can give all those stuff to somebody and help somebody get started. Way to go. What are the kiddos' names and ages?
This is Kenzie. She's 10.
And Xander, 8.
All right, way to go, guys. All the way from New York City, or New York State, rather, practicing a debt-free scream. I assume they have it down by now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, good. Mark and Ashley, Kinsey and Xander from New York. I love it. $124,000 paid off in 6 years and 4 months, making $47 to $110. House and everything. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Yeah! They brought it. Woo!
That'll put some pep in your step.
That'll go. Good job. Yeah.
Wow.
So what's the point? The point is you've been listening to this show and not doing the stuff we teach, and today's your day. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Today's your day. That couple right there was talking directly at you, asking you indirectly why in the world you're still screwing around and not doing this stuff. Today is your day. Decide. The proof is there. We've proven to you for decades that this stuff works. And there it is yet again with Mark and Ashley. And Kinsey and Xander had their whole family tree changed because their mom and dad took in new information and changed their direction.
People listen for 5, 10, 15 years, and then finally they go, well, Dave, I finally picked up the book. I finally went to the class, and 2 years later I became completely debt-free. 6 years later, we didn't have a mortgage payment. It's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
Instead of listening, just do it and see if you like it. And like they said, if you don't like it, go back to how you were living. It'll always be there.
I mean, if you get out of debt and you hate it, you can get back in pretty easy.
They'll let you get more debt, it turns out.
This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. A lot of you are planning to move sometime soon. Well, that's fun. I'm excited for you. But I got to be real. In most places around the country, you're still facing sky-high home prices and interest rates. Well, they're up too. They're not exactly at their record lows. And that makes home ownership tough, but does not make it impossible. If you want to buy or you want to sell, you got to make sure you're financially ready, and you got to have a trusted and experienced real estate agent to walk you through it. Not Uncle Charlie who just got his license. Not someone who does real estate as a part-time hobby because they like looking at houses. You need a pro who does a lot of transactions to help you with your transaction. A high-caliber Ramsey trusted agent You can get them through our endorsed local providers program. And since we vet the agents from around the country, you'll have the best support, whether you're moving from Florida to Alaska or anywhere in between. RamseySolutions.com/agent to find a Ramsey trusted real estate agent today. That's RamseySolutions.com/agent. Shay is with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Shay. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, George. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my husband and I are currently in baby step 3, and we also need to save for a few other things this year. So my question is, should I separate my savings into different focused funds, or should I lump it together until my life changes path?
What is it we're saving for?
So I'm saving for
what are the life
fund.
change? What are we talking about here?
Yes, so my husband is currently finishing up college. He has about a year left, and we're cash flowing that.
Mm-hmm.
The Navy is paying for 60% of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm currently pregnant, and we are also saving up for a new car for the baby.
Babies don't need cars.
Yes, I understand.
You're not saving up a car for the baby. You're saving up a car for you. So, so congratulations on having a baby. That's awesome. So what is your existing car?
It is a 2011 Ford Taurus, and it has 202,000 miles. 2,000 miles. And so we're just trying to.
That's your only car?
Cheap SUV. Yes, that's our only car.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And what's your household income?
It's about $55,000 a year. I stay at home, and like I said, my husband is active duty.
Okay. All right. And you already have children?
No, this is our first.
Well, congratulations. That's just awesome. How old are you two?
Thank you. We're both 23.
Okay.
And when's the baby due?
In September. My mom's birthday, September 9th.
Fun. Okay, and how much money do you have in savings currently?
About $10,000.
Great. And so if we just saved up, we just continued to pile on money into that emergency fund, how much would you have by the time the baby comes?
You didn't do anything but build up savings.
I would say maybe 15 to 20,000.
Should have, yeah. That sounds about right. I'd say closer to 20 if you're doing a good job of managing your budget, making sure every dollar has a name. So if you did that and you and baby came home and everybody's okay and everybody comes home from the hospital and you had $20,000 and no debt payments, that'd be a pretty good place to be to start, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah. And then we can look at upgrading the car a little.
Okay.
But let's get you and baby home and safe and make sure we don't trade car money for baby money.
That sounds good.
And does that include cash flowing his school?
Yes, it does. Like I said, the Navy's paying for 60%, so each trimester is about $1,000, and he has 2 left.
Okay, so we're only talking a couple $1,000 and we're done with this.
Yes, that's correct.
Is he still in the Navy, or this is post?
And he's active duty. He's trying to finish his college degree so he can become an officer.
Oh, good. Okay,
Right.
So pay's going to go up when he finishes. Good. Very good. Well, tell him thanks for his service.
Absolutely.
And so what would I tell you? What would we tell you to do? Let me summarize again, okay, Shay? I want you to do nothing except live on a tight budget, finish his degree, and get a big old pile of cash before baby comes. Baby comes and everybody's home and everybody's okay. Then we look at upgrading the car a little bit. Maximum of $7,000 to $10,000 car.
Okay, that sounds good.
Which is way better car than you got now.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, because you're driving a $1,500 car now.
And if something comes up, it may be a minor repair that we have to dip into the emergency fund and then build it back up.
But get you something that you feel good about the reliability and that'll hold a couple of car seats, obviously, and that $7,000 to $10,000 range after you come home, and that's going to leave you $10,000 to $15,000 in your bank account after you've done that. Still zero debt in this equation. And
of course.
It always helps me to lay out things in order, and that's kind of what we're helping you to do here. We're saying this comes first, then this, and then this. Okay? Because it's real easy to get 7 things coming at you at once and you get overwhelmed and you do them in the wrong order. Like, for instance, going and buying a $10,000 car right now, and then there was a hiccup with the baby and you needed the cash for that, that would have been a mistake. So we're just going to make sure everything's okay then, and it probably is 99%, right? It's going to be okay, but we're going to just keep things in right order, and that keeps the stress level down in your house and in your checkbook. So good stuff. Mike is with us. Mike's in Chattanooga. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, Dave, how you doing, man?
Better than we deserve. How can we help?
So to the point, I'm trying to figure out what to do with a situation that I got myself into with purchasing a couple homes before I kind of started listening to your podcast and hearing what you're saying and kind of seeing the parallel with y'all doing things that are not like the world, and the way I was doing things was more in line with the world, and I'm a believer, so I'm trying to make some changes here. But income is $9,522 take home. That's including the rent from the duplex. Without the rent, it's $7,272 a month. My mortgage is $1,445. The duplex is $1,789 a month. I have $72,000 in debt, consisting of a renovation loan, a vehicle, and a couple credit cards.
What will the duplex sell for?
So I just bought it this year. It appraised for $260 like 6 months ago. I paid $250 for it. I owe, I think, $245-ish. So I'm worried if I sell it, I would lose money. But I'm open to.
Well, there's nothing on fire. You don't have to give it away, so you should be able to sell it for market value if you're patient.
Right.
And it's rented.
Essentially, yeah. It is rented, yeah.
So it's not costing you anything to put it on the market and see if you can get it moved.
That's true.
And continue to collect your rent. And because what it is you don't have enough equity in that for it to represent anything but a potential problem. It's not a blessing.
Right.
Your rents overpayment are tight.
Right.
Any little hiccup becomes a cash drain rather than a blessing, and you don't have enough cash flow to set up to cover that drain.
Yeah, and I don't even have an emergency fund yet or anything like that. So, yeah. Also, the house that I live in, I did a full gut remodel over the last year. I got out of the military a year ago, and I did all this within the last year. I was doing this nights and on the weekends. I build houses for a living. The house I remodeled should sell for around $360. I owe $290. It came with an additional 1.1 acre lot that's already parceled out and has its own tax ID. So originally I planned to sell this house once it was remodeled and then build a house on the other lot. I think I can build a modest 3.2 for my family for under $200,000, which is better than I can.
Yeah, it may take you a while. It may take you a while to execute all these plans, but there's nothing here that sounds. Nothing's slam dunk in a hurry. It's not an emergency, but let's begin to move these things in and out of your life to where you end up with some cleared real estate and some cleared debt, and that's going to put you in a much better condition. Hey, man, thank you for joining us. This is the Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. From the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. This is a special edition of the Ramsey Show. This hour is the EntreLeadership Theme Hour. EntreLeadership is our brand where we work with business leaders, business owners, and answer business questions about your business, whatever it is, your personnel, your team, your payroll, your money, your idea, your product launch, whatever it is. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. He was for quite a while, over a couple of years, the host of the EntreLeadership podcast. And he has gotten so busy with the money stuff that I fired him and moved him into that. And I took the EntreLeadership podcast
I taught
a
you
week ago.
Everything I know, Dave. I mentored you for months to take over this podcast.
Well, he
was freaking out at first.
That's good to know, because that way, if it doesn't work, we can blame you.
That's right. I'm happy to take the blame, and you get all the credit. I think that's in your book, EntreLeadership, that you wrote.
That's how you delegate.
That's what great leaders do.
That's how you delegate. Great leaders look for a place to throw the blame. No. All right. So here's the deal. EntreLeadership podcast is on every Monday. It is a call-in show as well. It is podcast only, so pick it up where you listen to good podcasts. And in the meantime, this hour, we're going to take calls from those of you that own or operate or want to know about business. Small Business Theme Hour, EntreLeadership Theme Hour. The phone number here is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Now, it is important for a bunch of you out there to understand that small business is basically the American economy. It amounts to 54% of the gross domestic product. Over half of the economy is small business. And 70% of you work for small businesses or own a small business. Most people don't, statistically, work for large companies. That's the misnomer. Everyone thinks, oh, well, the big companies, the huge companies that have 10,000, 20,000 employees, they're the big employers. They're the big employers, but they're not the biggest portion of employers in the nation.
Well, when you think small business, a lot of people think, oh, it's a mom and pop shop, it's a solopreneur, but small and medium-sized businesses, I mean, that can run the gamut to thousands of people.
Yeah, we define it for EntreLeadership as those of you that have 200 or less team members. We've got about 1,100 here, but we're still, in our hearts, small business at Ramsey. It's a pretty big small business, but certainly not compared to whatever, big tech or something like that. We're just little guys on that idea. So, again, open phones at 888-825-5225, a Small Business Theme Hour. Raleigh, North Carolina. Lee is up. Hi, Lee.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I am so excited to be on this show. I've been a long-time listener and just looking for my chance to be on and ask a question here. So I'll give it a go. I use the Every Dollar budgeting app personally, and it's been a huge help financially for me and just keeping track of everything. But my bills as a business owner, I'd love to have a very similar tool, but these bills, they change all the time. So there are some things that remain consistent, but materials, anything like that. I run a painting business, so all that stuff kind of fluctuates each month. And I was wondering, is there a tool within the Ramsey stuff that would be able to help me with those kind of things?
No, we do not have a small business accounting package, and that's what you need. As a matter of fact, you need one that does job costing. When you're a subcontractor, you want to cost out each job, which is essentially running a profit and loss statement on each job. So you go in and you have a painting job, you estimate the job, and you contract for the job for a certain number of dollars, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then you would enter that into the job cost with a particular job, put a address on it or however you label that particular job, and then all of the materials and labor that are associated with that job are charged to that job, and then you put the income in from that job when the customer pays you, and now you can go back and go, well, I estimated it at this, and I missed it. And I could, I didn't put in enough for materials, or I didn't put in enough for labor, or I put in too much. I almost overbid it here. I ran my margins up accidentally. And each particular job is operated like a separate business. That's what job costing means. So you need some accounting software that does that. I would probably check with the Home Builders Association and see what they're recommending on it. We've got a very sophisticated, but it's overkill for you, accounting software called NetSuite that is absolutely incredible. If QuickBooks has a business version out there, you might look at that. You may look for a cloud solution, but I don't have one off the top of my head. But whatever you're doing, you're looking for something that does job costing. Are you seeing anything, George?
I mean, QuickBooks is what came to mind.
Yeah.
They may have some of those features at this point.
Yeah, and there's another one that does... we used to advertise for them, and I can't think who it is. That's a cloud-based thing. I want to call it Zero Res. That's a carpet company, though.
Oh.
But it's something like that. Anyway, I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. You need to go out there and find something, Lee, that does that. You don't need something super expensive or complicated. You've just got to do it on purpose, and you budget it by doing job costing. That's the big thing. And allocate a portion of your overhead to each job to where there's no central global expense sheet. All of it is allocated somewhere to a job, and that's what you want to do. So very, very good question. George, it's really important in personal finance, but also in business, to tell your money what to do before the month begins.
We actually did an episode, you and I, on the Entree Leadership Podcast about this, about financial peace for business and the importance of doing a budget. We actually talked to our CFO here to figure out what does a business need to think about when it comes to this, because it is different than your personal budget. You have things that you wouldn't need to worry about in your personal finances.
Well, it's different in that the things that are in it are different, but the concept's still the same. We're projecting for this coming month what our income's going to be. We could call it revenue in business. We're projecting what our outflow is going to be. Call it expenses in business or in personal. And the difference is called profit in business. And so you don't want to project losing money. So we've either got to cut expenses or raise revenues, or you're going to be out of business. And a business that doesn't make money eventually is called a hobby. So you need to change these things, and you need to be on top of it. And so many people, and small business people in particular, are so enthusiastic. They're so excited. They're so good at doing their particular craft. They don't bother to budget before the month starts, and then they try to out-earn their stupidity. I might have known a guy that did that a couple of times.
How happy were you when you hired your first accountant?
Oh, I was so happy.
Best day of his life.
Don't have to do that stuff. I hate it.
He's marrying Sharon, hiring an accountant.
I love it. Yes, these are good rules, yes. It's an Entree Leadership Theme Hour here on The Ramsey Show. The phone number is 888-825-5225 if you want to talk business. This is an Entree Leadership Theme Hour. George Camel, Ramsey personality and former host of the Entree Leadership Podcast, is my co-host today as we take your questions about business. 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. And that's what I would do. Jump in. Now, listen, a couple of programming notes here. Number one, we did move George. He's doing a bunch of YouTube things. He's got a couple of projects, a book he's working on. And so he was just too stinking busy to do the Entree Leadership Podcast. He got too good for us. So I'm doing the Entree Leadership Podcast now and answering your questions. People are calling in and doing that. You can join us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just look up Entree Leadership Podcast. It's one of the top business and leadership podcasts in America today. And literally, I mean, it's in the top 5 or something. So jump in there and give us a listen, and we'll be taking your calls on that as well. The phone number here, 888-825-5225. Now, the other programming note is on the Ramsey Show, which is what you're listening to. If you have not subscribed to this show on YouTube or podcast, do it. What are you waiting on? You'll help us out a bunch if you do that. And give us a 5-star rating, too. your mother said, if you ain't got anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So 5-star ratings are welcome. The rest of you just move on. And you're not doing anybody any good hating on us. So it helps us out, really. It does. And share the show. If you're listening on talk radio or TBN, let people know where you're watching or listening. If you're listening on a podcast, let them know. You can click a link on that and share the link. Same thing on YouTube. So share, review, subscribe. Very important on this show, The Ramsey Show, and on any of our shows here, including my taking over the Entree Leadership podcast.
You're the OG, Dave.
There we go.
Bring it back.
I don't know exactly what that means, but I guess I am. Yeah, okay, whatever you said. Mallory is in New Haven, Connecticut. Hey, Mallory, how are you?
Hi, Dave. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. How can we help today?
So my husband and I are small business owners. My husband's a chiropractor, and we opened up our own private practice a couple years ago. And we're on schedule to pay off those big doctor student loans by the end of this year. And we were wondering when, in the baby steps, should we consider buying an office space instead of leasing, before or after we pay off our home mortgage?
I bought mine after I paid off my home mortgage, and I bought it with cash.
Okay.
I would not recommend that you go into debt. You're not in the real estate business. You're in the chiropractic business.
Definitely.
Don't get confused. So this idea that, real estate's an investment, I need to go into debt and get that. And everybody does that in small business, and it puts you in a serious pinch. You're much better off to lease until you can buy. The ideal situation is if you can find a property. This is what we did on our first building at Ramsey, our first office building. Not our first one, our third one. We leased an 800 square foot space, then we moved to a 3,000 square foot space, and then we moved into a 13,000 square foot space within a 55,000 square foot office building. The third move, we got a lease with an option to purchase for 5 years. During that 5 years, we scraped our nickels out of the corner of the couch and paid cash for that building. Exercise the option. So that's ideal if you can find a place. Now, in your case, you're probably a candidate for a really good office condo.
Okay.
I've owned a few of those in my life, and something, because I'm guessing you're probably using under 10,000 square feet, aren't you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
One to two.
Yeah, I had a 7,000 square foot office condo across the street from our old offices that we bought and put people in, and I later sold it because we moved out of that location into these new buildings that we built. But yeah, you're a real candidate. That's a good size. And honestly, if someone owns an office condo that they don't need anymore, they're a candidate to lease it to you with an option because they wouldn't mind selling it probably.
Mm-hmm.
So look around for that and see if you can find that. But it's okay if you're a renter for a decade on your business.
Okay.
Are you all planning to grow the size of the business in terms of the square footage and need?
I think slightly. We'd like to, once we finish paying off the student loans, we'd eventually like to add a second doctor to help with the workload. So we would need a little more space, them to have their own tables. We would like to grow a little bit, but we will never need, 5,000 to 10,000. That's just would be too big at any time.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you over purchased a little bit for your growth, you won't have a problem later.
For sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would aim at then. Because one of the things that small businesses, and you're not going to fall to this, but a lot of small businesses run into is they buy something and then they outgrow it. And then they're trapped because they own it.
Yes.
So I like the flexibility of leasing until you know exactly where you want to go, how much you're going to pay, and make that a goal, from the profits to save up that amount and pay in cash, which is a controversial thing in the business world.
The truth is, in most businesses, like 98% of them, rent is not a big line item in your P&L. It's payroll is, but rent is not. And so it's just a cost of doing business, and the flexibility and someone else dealing with the building breaking down, the heat and air going out, the roof leaking, all that crap is really, really handy while you're trying to be a chiropractor. Now, I'm a real estate guy. I grew up in the real estate business, so I've always, had an addiction to the ownership of real estate. But I've never borrowed money since I went broke years ago, to buy real estate of any kind, including the properties that we're sitting in today.
Well, people think it's a conspiracy theory, Dave, that you pay cash for all of these buildings. And I know you personally, and I know that you say all the time, we move at the speed of cash. Even with our own building projects, we're not going to continue until we have the funds to do it.
Well, honestly, I grew up in Antioch, Tennessee, and sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and think it's a conspiracy theory that God gave me enough money to do this. It blows my mind because it's a lot of money. My brain is just, sometimes I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude and overwhelmed with, I can't believe I'm here. But I am here, and we did pay cash, and we did it a little bit at a time. I mean, we're finishing up the Ramsey Event Center in the next 2 weeks or so. It'll be completed, and it's the third building on this campus, and we've got plenty of room to grow. Plenty of room to grow here within the event center and within the office buildings that we have. We can house about 2,000 people, and we have about 1,100. So we're ahead of the curve on all that. But the idea that I would have that kind of money, if you'd asked me that in my 20s or even in my 30s, I would have said, oh, my gosh, no way. But it's happened very gradually over a decade that we put ourselves in this, that God put us in this position to do this. It's blessings. So it's really, really pretty cool. This is an Entree Leadership Theme Hour. We're talking small business. And here's the thing. People ask us, George, do these financial peace principles from the Bible apply to business? Well, the borrower is slave to the lender, except in business, is not in Proverbs. It's just the borrower slave to the lender, period. And co-signing, one lacking in sense co-signs for another, except in business. It doesn't say that in Proverbs. Jesus said, don't build a tower without first counting the cost, lest you get halfway up and you're unable to finish. And all who see you begin to mock you and say, this man began to build and was unable to finish. This idea of having a plan, having a blueprint before you build a tower, having a budget, except in business. It's not in there. So there's no caveats to common sense or spiritual principles from Scripture. There's no caveats for business. It's no different. Now, you can violate them if you want. It's not a sin. You're not going to hell for it. It's just biblically speaking and common sense speaking, dumb. Because you know how much I was worried about paying the rent in these buildings during COVID? Not. Didn't have a cash flow pinch here, boys and girls. Think about it. This is an Entree Leadership Theme Hour on The Ramsey Show. It's an Entree Leadership Theme Hour, a small business theme hour here on The Ramsey Show. If you want to hear more of this kind of content for small businesses, we love small business at Ramsey. We have been one for 35 years. And we've coached and worked with small businesses under the Entree Leadership brand for decades. And we have the Entree Leadership podcast that I now do, answering questions just like we're doing today. So if you want to join us on that, it comes out every Monday and anywhere great podcasts are sold. Be sure and check it out. That would be Apple, Spotify, etc., right? So Google Play, all that kind of stuff. We're everywhere you can want to listen to a podcast. Oh, and it's on YouTube. So be sure and check that out as well. All right, Allie is next. Allie is with us in Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, Allie. How are you?
Hey, Dave, I'm great. How are you?
Better than we deserve. How can George and I help?
Well, I am a residential house cleaning company owner here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I have been trying to grow this business for the last 6 years or so. And obviously then the pandemic happened and we had our best year ever in 2020. And then we ended up with an employee shortage, which obviously made it to where I had to cancel a bunch of clients. I wasn't making as much money and could no longer afford to pay for ads for employees. And I'm just having a really tough time growing right now with the lack of workers and then just finances. You know, trying to support my kids and pay well has been a challenge. I took out a loan, which was really stupid of me, through Stripe in September, thinking that would assist me in paying for ads for workers and training, and it ended up biting me in the butt big time, and since then I haven't been able to pay myself. So I'm here to ask for your genius assistance.
So what are your current expenses with this business?
Expenses are obviously payroll, and travel time and fuel, all the insurances, and supplies and equipment.
And how many people are working for you right now?
Right now, I actually only have 2 people, so 3 including myself.
And how many would be ideal for you to grow and scale this thing?
10 would be awesome, because then I can actually start working on the business instead of in the business.
Do you have enough clients
And
to
I was
support that,
almost
or do you have
there.
a client issue as well?
No, I could get clients pretty easily. I was in B&I for a while, and I could easily just go back there and get clients, no problem. It's just the workers and getting them fully trained in order to send them to these places that, you know, the most expensive part of it and the most difficult.
Okay, you're running 2 employees or 3?
2, but I am
Two, and you're working in the houses as well, and you're not making a profit.
Correct. I'm working my butt off, and I'm
So
not
why would we
taking a
scale
paycheck.
this?
Well, the opportunity is definitely there.
Well, then go get some opportunity. You need more houses to clean with the 3 of you. You got to get something
Right.
profitable before you want to double it. I don't want to double this. It sounds like
Right.
hell.
Why isn't it making money right now?
Just because of the lack of workers and how
No. You don't have enough houses for the 3 of you to clean to offset the fact that all 3 of you need to make a living out of it.
we have tons of houses. We're working like.
Then why are you
6
not
days
making a
week.
profit on 3 people working it?
If you were doing this solo, would you be making a profit?
So I was making a profit until I took out that loan from Stripe in September.
How much do you owe Stripe?
Stripe, it was a $15,000 loan, and then they added $2,000 on top of that, and I thought that would help me to get
For advertising?
employees. Right, because Indeed changed their they changed their way of charging. It used to be I could do $10 a day, and now it's like $35 an application. So I wasn't able to afford ads to get the workers.
Well,
to clean the
no,
houses.
you weren't able to afford their ads, and that's when you should have walked away from
Yeah.
them
Well,
instead
I
of
didn't know who else
financing
to
with
go other
them
than
with Stripe.
ZipRecruiter.
Okay, so, but $17,000 loan. If you just quit paying that, you're still not profitable.
Well, so how
Today.
that works is they take out 20% per transaction because it's
Out of
with
what?
the
Oh, they
scheduling.
pay you by Stripe?
Right. So I have a scheduling software called House Call Pro, and they use Stripe to process the credit card. And so for every transaction that, my clients pay via credit card, they're taking 20% to pay back the loan.
You know, sold your soul
It's like
to
garnishing
the company
wages.
store.
I did. I know.
Sold your
It's
soul. So you're going to have to shut every bit of that down and go get a different credit card processing and just process. You haven't even got that many houses. How many houses are you cleaning?
I haven't added it up, but we're still under 100, but I think it's like 75. for
Three
the
of you are
us.
cleaning 75 houses.
Reoccurring, yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Is there an hourly rate? Is there an average rate you're charging per home?
Well, for initial deep cleans, there is an hourly rate, which is $60 an hour.
Okay.
Sometimes $55 if it's
You
not
have
that bad.
farmed out your scheduling. You have farmed out your payment systems, and you farmed out a loan, and you incestuously woven them all together. The only way you're going to get back on your feet is to break every bit of that, and that's going to mean you go get another way to schedule and another way to process payments where they're not taking 20% out, and then you pay them when you can get around to it. But you get your business up and running first. They stand on the sidelines and wait on you.
Right.
And you don't have to have Indeed or Stripe to run a business. They're not that freaking powerful.
So who do you recommend that we purchase ads from for employees?
I don't know that I would purchase ads. I think I would take the 3 people that you have and tell them I'll pay you $500 a piece for your friends that come to work here.
Right, and I did do that, but
what about local Facebook groups, neighborhood communities?
Hey, Allie, let me tell you what I'm hearing. I did what you're doing for a while. What I did for a while was I kept waiting on someone to come along riding on a white horse to make business easy.
No,
you're looking for some software, some advertising. You're looking for Indeed and Stripe and house scheduling company, whatever it was called. All these people to do this and make it. All of a sudden, it's going to be easy. Or if I just get more people, it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to get down in the dirt with this thing. You're not afraid of hard work. That's not what I'm saying. But no one's coming to save you. No one's coming. The cavalry's not coming. You have got to push back, and you've got to fix this yourself. And it's not like, oh, I have to go buy ads. You know how many ads Ramsey buys for hiring? 0. We hired 300 people last year. We do not buy ads. We post stuff on LinkedIn. We post stuff here or there, but we do not buy employment ads. They're generally useless. The type of people that come in off of them are the bottom of the barrel. Occasionally you can get somebody good. And Indeed's not a bad company, but you don't want to be a slave to them. They're taking 20% out like George says, like a garnishment. They're killing you. You have painted yourself into a corner, and employees aren't your problem. The problem is that you gave someone else control of your business in an effort to make this easy. And it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to make it hard again. You have to do scheduling by hand on a spreadsheet. You have to go down at your bank and get a Visa processing system and just get a merchant account with your local bank, and you can process your own stinking cards. It's only 75 transactions a month. It's not like you can't do those at night after the kids go to bed. It's not that hard. And so you can do this, and then when you get ready to scale and you get Stripe paid back, you may want to step back in with them, but learn your lesson, and that's don't fall. Good Lord.
Yeah, run this thing at the speed of cash.
How
this
backward
is the
is it
stupid
that
tax.
a payment processing company puts you in debt to them? Wow. That is just gross. I'm sorry, Allie. I'm sorry this is a mess you find yourself in, but there's only one way out, and it's to box it, and you handle it yourself. It's the only way you walk out of this. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Philippians 3:14. I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Barack Obama said, if you're walking down the right path and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress. Absolutely. All right, let's recap just a second, George, before we go to another call. This is an EntreLeadership theme hour, and I feel like I need to clean up some stuff I stepped in there. So, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, Stripe, LinkedIn. Stripe's a payment processing company. The other 3 are places that you can advertise or otherwise post jobs for jobs, and they do work. Okay, I overstated that. I said I would never use them. You're only going to get crap there. That was exaggeration. They actually do provide, in some cases, a good lead for a potential candidate to come to work for you, or a good lead if you're a candidate for an actual job. Our best results for a high-end white-collar job, like stuff like $200,000 a year programmers, that kind of thing, is LinkedIn. Okay, that's been our best results. But we don't pay for ads. We create a stir on LinkedIn. It's a social media situation, and we get leads that way. We also, of course, have a national radio show that we can say, hey, come to work for Ramsey, and people put in applications here as a result. One of the ads is in your voice, as a matter of fact.
That's right. And well, we have to differentiate ads versus a job posting. So paying to have a job posted is different than paying to have an advertisement where it pops up at the very top in your face.
Exactly. Now, so I'm not trashing all of those companies, although I did. The reason I went there, the reason I exaggerated, was the emotion. What was, she feels like there's no other way to run her business. Like before the internet existed with Indeed or ZipRecruiter, that it was impossible to hire people to clean houses. So what did they do back in the day? Well, of course, we had classified ads because there were these things called newspapers in those days. Remember those? Now they're pamphlets, but they're 1/10 as thick as they used to be and much less credible in most cases. And so, but they're, all of that to say, most small businesses have grown their team primarily by word of mouth for generations. And so she was just making these absolute statements that she's trapped, and if she can't get on Indeed, she simply can't grow. And that's what I was overreacting to. So I was out of line. So Indeed, don't be mad at me. I'm not trashing you. And same with ZipRecruiter, same with other online services. But if you feel like the only way you can run your business is to buy something you can't afford, then you really have to adjust your thinking, and that's what I was attempting to do with a 2x4. But
I've helped friends get jobs just from social media posts, where a friend posts, I'm looking for this person, I tag them, they get in touch, and all of a sudden a job happened with no advertising needed. And so word of mouth is powerful, even
running
if it's
your
digital.
own little SEO campaign that way within your social media posts is a possibility. All of that's there. And then the possibility of just growing slower is okay. But you don't want to take a business that's not profitable and double it. And you certainly don't want to triple it. That's hell on earth.
You'll double the profits that don't exist.
Yeah, or the losses. Thank you, no.
It compounds.
Thank you, no. And now, if you have boxed yourself into a corner where you have more bills, like she does, and in her case, they were utilizing her payment system to actually dock her pay before she got her pay. If you box yourself in that situation, then you've got to structurally change something to get on your feet so that you have a chance to pay them. Because she's not going to stay open and pay them. You could hear it in her voice. She's not going to be there much longer. She's running out of steam. So that's why I was saying not to cheat Stripe and not pay them. I want her to pay them, but the best way they get paid is for her to quit paying them for a while and get some people hired and build that business back up, and then start throwing money at the $17,000 to never do business with them again in that regard. Now, you can use them for a payment system or whatever. That's fine. I don't care. But never, ever, ever go in debt to someone that can dock your pay directly like that. Never go into debt to somebody, period. But never, ever, 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 ever. They got a gun to your head. I mean, they own you. That's just awful. I just felt so bad for her. She's so trapped. So that's a little bit of clarification on that. So when you're hiring, our best hires at Ramsey, we've got a group of thoroughbreds in the building. And thoroughbreds, you know who they run around with? Other thoroughbreds. And so we give them a bounty for bringing in their thoroughbred friends to join the team. And if they're a thoroughbred, they also know what a donkey looks like. And they don't want donkeys working beside them. And so if they got one of their friends that's a donkey, they don't bring them over here. And so, but most thoroughbreds run around with other thoroughbreds. You become who you hang around with. And so that's what you're looking for is an internal referral system or even a client referral system. You could ask somebody that you clean their house to say, hey, who used to clean your house? I'm looking for some more help.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that I could hire? I mean, you can just word of mouth shake the bushes out there, but this idea that somehow the only way to operate your business is to be tethered to a digital service that you can't afford, that's very, you're boxing yourself in a corner. You're trapping yourself with your own mentality, and that's what I was trying to break.
Thank you for the clarification.
There we go.
I feel clarified.
Do you? All right, okay, good. I'm glad you do. All right, Olin is with us in Wichita. Hi, Olin. How are you?
Hey, Dave and George. It's an honor to be on here with you guys, huge Entree Leadership fans, and I'm excited to get hit up the head of the 2x4 today.
Well, how can we help, sir?
So my question is, how do I get my business out of debt after 13 years? I bought my lawn irrigation business at age 19 for $25,000, all of which I borrowed. And the business has grown since then, and so has my liabilities. And 2020, 2021 were kind of poor years. We did end up taking EIDL, but in that time frame too, actually, we built a new building and bought some land for that. And going forward, 2022, we had a really good year. We had good growth. We had 13% net profit at the end of the year. But it just a lot of it went to servicing debt, and we want to keep growing, but I'm kind of in a spot where I'm like, do I try to sit here and take care of debt, or do we keep growing, which is, in our current cycle is going to take more debt. So I'm curious to see what you would recommend.
Well, it's kind of a Dr. Phil moment, isn't it? How's it working for you? This thing of every time I want to add debt, every time I want to grow, I add debt. And it's led you to calling us and saying, hey, I don't like being in debt, but I sort of do because I want to keep growing and I like debt. And now I'm just really confused with myself. That's what I heard.
Mm. What's the total debt now?
I know. Go ahead. Sorry.
What's the total debt?
We just around $900,000.
How much of that's the building?
Business.
How much of that's the building and the land?
The building would be about $500,000 of that.
Okay. So tell me why you need a $500,000 building to cut grass.
Well, we don't cut grass, but
I thought you said you did lawn work and irrigation.
We do irrigation, fertilization. So we're in the weeds now, but
I mean, is this a warehouse to store your equipment and product? What's going on?
It's some office space. We've got 4 or 5 offices in here.
So what's your gross revenue?
And then warehouse. Last year we were just at $1.4 million, which was up about 50% from the year before, and
that was not due to you having a building. Your 50% increase in sales had nothing to do with that building.
Well, when you operate out of a small building in 2 locations and communicate...
You can rent a building. It wasn't due to a $500,000 worth of debt. It might have been due to you getting into a better facility, but it wasn't necessary for you to go into debt to do it. So here's the thing, Olin. If you want to get out of debt, the first step, stop borrowing more. That's first step. And you're not committed to that yet. When you get committed to that, then you can start taking the steps to get out of debt. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace,
Hey, it's George
Christ
Hamill.
Jesus.
If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.